Israelite family, what it do, what it do, what it do. Happy Sabbath, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. In the mighty name of Yahushua HaMashiach, blessed be our Father, Yahuwah Elohim, Almighty family, for another beautiful Sabbath day.
My advice to you is just ignore them. Keep the Most High first and keep His love.
That's what we're doing over here, y'all. We resting. That's what we doing, family. We chilling on the Sabbath.
I know y'all go to church on Sunday. They all confused. We're chilling on the Sabbath. We're chilling on the Sabbath. The seventh day of the week. We're chilling on the Sabbath. Friday sundown.
Saturday sundown.
Say we're chilling on the Sabbath while everybody's out
doing what they want to do. We're reading scripture and singing to the Most High,
'cause we know the law
and we keep the Father's holy commandments.
So let people say what they want to say.
Let them say what they want to say, family.
Fuck you.
We're going to keep our Father's commandments over here. All right, now, family, and the name of this title, of this message will be entitled, Israelite family, why do the nations live to take? It is not the way of the chosen. You see what our president doing? Making statements like he just went into Venezuela and took over their oil industry, making threats about invading Cuba, Mexico, Colombia, Greenland. And we know that is the history of the nations. Not just Gentiles, when our people was in captivity in Egypt, when our Father led them out with our ancestor Moses out of the land of Egypt, he told them to go back to the land of Canaan and take that land back from the people who had occupied it. And they were black people. So this don't have nothing to do with no color. The nations, they live to take, but that is not the way of Yah's chosen people, family. That is not our way. So let us not adopt the way of the heathen. Scripture says, learn not the ways of the heathen. I believe that's in the book of Jeremiah chapter 10, and probably other places too. So in this message, family, you will see that there is a distinction between the goats who like to live and take, and Yah's people, the sheep. That is not the way of Yah's chosen people to live. Okay? And you'll also see in this message, family, the consequences of the goats who like to live by taking from Yah's chosen. The consequences of the error of their ways. And you also see in this video, family, the blessings that Yah has for his sheep when this is all said and done. Okay, so buckle up and please, family, everybody watch the whole entire video. I started cutting my videos short because in the analytics, when I used to go like an hour and a half, 2 hours and stuff like that, it used to tell me in the analytics that, people are watching the video up to the 10-minute point and stuff like that. And so I don't want to bore anybody, and I don't want to, try to, I hope everybody gets some understanding and are edified in every message that I share. And I don't want to bore people by just, going on and on and on and never getting to the point. So I just made up my mind that I was just going to make them short and sweet, get to the point, and instead of having the people wondering, being repetitious but not getting to the point. So I had to do something about that. So that's why I started cutting the video short, because I don't want to bore anybody. And I want you guys to watch the whole entire video. And sometimes people make comments and stuff that I covered in the video. And I was like, well, for them to make a comment like that, that lets me know that they didn't watch the whole video. Okay, so please, family, watch the whole video and be edified in the word of Yah that it is saying to us. And I'll be starting out in the book of wisdom from this Sefer Bible, family. Okay. The book of wisdom, chapter 2. Verse 16. Why do they live to just take? It seems that they don't live with eternity even on their minds. Because if they did, they wouldn't live like they do. Just taking from other nations. There's going to be a penalty to pay because of that. Because we know that it says in the book of Jubilees that Noah and his sons and his sons made an oath that all land that was not allotted to certain brothers, you can't just take it. And those that did that, they cursed themselves and all their generations all the way up to judgment. So these nations who live to take land that don't belong to them, they can escape the justice of man's laws because they're the ones making all the laws. And we're going to cover some of that in here too. Their justice is, their justice is the strength of their power. And so that's their law. And so, but they might escape that man's judgment in the earth, but, there's consequences to pay in the spirit realm when we all go to see the just judge, our Father up in heaven. So these people, they living like this is just it. So this is their portion, and they truly live like this is the only portion that, that there is, worth living for. But they can live like that all they want, but they are sorely mistaken. Okay, I said the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, family, verses 1 to 16. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 1 to 16. Family, here we go. For the wicked said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright, our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from Sheol. For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, they say, and a little spark in the moving of our heart, which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our ruach shall vanish as the soft air, and our name shall be forgotten in time. And no man shall have our works in remembrance, and our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof. For our time is a very shadow that passes away, and after our end there is no returning, for it is fast sealed, so that no man comes again. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. You know what they're talking about? Let no flower of the spring pass by them. They're talking about having their way with virgins while they can. As it continues, let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. That's what they're talking about. Taking advantage of all virgins and stuff before they are withered, get into old age and stuff. You see how they think? Wicked, you know what I'm saying? One co-worker, this Spaniard, a Mexican, years ago on one job, said to me, he came up to me. He said, we have been working for years, so he felt he can just say something like this to me. He said, how many virgins have you been with? I was like, probably one when I was real young. Her and I was both virgins, as far as my knowledge. And I said, what about you? He said, oh man, just one? Yeah, most, people have been with somebody already, these days. And I don't look to no children, but anyway, he said to me, this Spaniard dude, he said, I think he said 35 or something. And this guy was like, close to 30 at the time. I think I was like in my 40s or so. I said, really? But see, that's, these people who follow that Catholic religion, them Spaniards, they think it's all about Mother Mary because she was a virgin when she had Yahushua HaMashiach, and so they think that everything is in Mother Mary. And so this is who they worship in this Catholic religion. They worship her. So in the minds of these Spaniard dudes, these Hispanic guys, they think, in what kind of crooked way they think, is that the best thing that they can do is have their way with as many virgins as they can. And this guy that told me that, he was married and had 3 daughters. But they're part of these heathen who live to take. That's how they live. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of disturbed me when he was saying those things to me. You know what I'm saying? But I just didn't really have anything else to say until he just left. Okay. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place. For this is our portion, and our lot this is. And our lot is this, they say. Okay. Let us oppress the poor, righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. So they already know that there are people that are not like them. Okay? Let our strength be the law of justice. Let their strength be their law of justice. Their law of justice is their strength and their might. You see how the United States is talking about taking over other people's countries? That's the law of their justice is their strength. These Gentile nations, that's how they think. You see how Putin just went in 3 years ago and invaded Ukraine? The law of their strength. That's their justice. The law of their strength. And China wants to take over the island of Taiwan. The law of their strength is their justice. That's how they live. Take. And, the nature of their people, these Gentile nations, they always live like that. Just look through history. What the Greece did, what Alexander the Great, what Napoleon did, what France, what Hitler did when he was the leader of Germany. Take. Invade other countries. Take. That's how they live. This life is their portion, and that's how they live. Okay? For that which is feeble, okay, let our strength be the law of justice. For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. That which is feeble is found to be nothing worth, they say. But Yah says in his word to his people, be patient with those who are feeble. But to them, the feeble are nothing, okay? That's why Trump, when in 2016, when he was running for president, he was talking about somebody that was handicapped. So these scriptures are talking about the nations that live to take. They don't care about nobody else but themselves and taking their portion in this life. They're not living for all eternity in their thoughts. They're not thinking about that. But they'll see when their life is over and they wake up in eternity. Then they'll realize, wow, they lived their whole life wrong. Because it's time to go to see the just judge. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not of our turn, and he is clean. Contrary to our doing, he upbraids us with our offending the Torah, and objects to our infamy, the transgression of our education. He professes to have the knowledge of Elohim, and he calls himself the child of Yahuwah. See, they already know there are people that are not like them, and they are talking about the Israelites. They're making a distinction between themselves, who are the nations, the heathen, against Yah's chosen people, the Israelites. See, and you got some people in the Christian church, they want to try to lump everybody together. But you read Yah's word, and it clearly makes a distinction between the sheep and the goats, between the tares and the wheat, between the wicked and the righteous, family. Okay, as I continue. He was made to reprove our thoughts, they say. He is grievous to us even to behold, for his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. They already know this. Our life is of another fashion. We keep our Father's commandments. Our people went under the curses because they stopped doing it. And we was cursed for a while, but now our Father has turned back to us, and the Ruach HaKodesh is back with us, and we know who we are. We have waken up in the land of these captives where we are, and we turn back to our Father, and we know who we are and why those things happen to us. So we are the people that they're talking about. As I continue, we are esteemed of him as counterfeits. Yeah, with the fake white Jesus that they created. That's their God, a God that don't even exist. Okay, he abstains from our ways as from filthiness. That way is filthiness because it's blaspheming Yahuwah Elohim Almighty in heaven and everything that he stands for. He pronounces the end of the just to be blessed and makes his boast that Elohim is his father, and he is our father. The chosen people of Yahuwah Elohim Almighty, the Israelites, we are the children of Yah. Okay? And there will be some from different, nations who have joined themselves with us by clinging to us, and they hear us teaching the word of Yah, because Yah gave the word to the Israelites. Okay? Read Psalm chapter 147, verse 19 and 20. The truth is in the children that he chose. Okay? The other nations, they're students. If they want to be a part of this, they're students. They're not our teachers. We're the teachers, and they have learned from us the truth of Yah's word. Okay? Moving right along, family. From here, we're going to, Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 to 7. When our father told our ancestor Abraham, the first Hebrew, to leave the land with his father and his people, and come to a land that he would show him, and he told him to go to the land of Canaan. And that's the land that our father gave to Abraham and his offspring for other. But we were given other parts of the world too. Okay, so Yah created this world for Israel. As I continue, family, Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 to 7. And Yahuwah had said to Abraham, get you out of your country and from your kindred and from your father's house to a land that I will show you. And I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless you, and curse them that curse you, and in you shall all the families of the earth be blessed. He's saying, in you shall all the families of the earth be blessed. He's telling them, through Abraham they will be blessed. They must come and join themselves, cling to the Israelites. That's the only way, according to Yah's word. Okay? They must join themselves with the Israelites in this truth. Okay, so Abraham departed as Yahuwah had spoken to him, and Lot went with him, and Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarah his woman, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came. And Abram passed through the land to the place of Shechem, to the plain of Morah, and the Canaanite was then in the land, the Canaanites, okay? And Yahuwah appeared to Abraham and said, unto your seed will I give this land, and there built he an altar to Yahuwah who appeared to him. So that land was given to the Israelites, but our people ended up in captivity in Egypt. And after so long, they was led out by Moses. Our father chose to lead them out. And he told them to go take their land back from the people who had occupied their land. See, Yah's creation, everything belongs to him. And he gives it to whomever he chooses. But when other nations take it upon themselves to take land that don't belong to them, they curse themselves when they do that. And these leaders in the world, it's like it seems like the way they're operating, they have no thought about our Father and his ways. They just take. And it's appalling to me. It's like these people, all they care is about this materialistic world. You know what I'm saying? Anything you own in it is just temporary. But that's just how they live, They're not the children of Yahuwah Elohim Almighty. They're not conducting themselves like the children of Yahuwah Elohim Almighty, okay? Now, family, I'll be going over to Second Esdras. Okay? Second Esdras, chapter 15, verse 1 to 9. Okay. And it says here, behold, speak in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in your mouth, says Yahuwah, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against you. Let not the incredulity of them trouble you that speak against you. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, says Yahuwah, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction, for wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful words are fulfilled. Therefore, says Yahuwah, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood cries to me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And therefore, says Yahuwah, I will surely avenge them and receive to me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people are led as a flock to the slaughter. Jumping down to verse 20 to 28. Behold, says Yahuwah, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Lebanon, to turn themselves one against another. See, he's going to call all the nations and to turn them one against another. Exactly what you're starting to see going on in the world, especially with this nation, talking about invading Venezuela, taking over their oil industry, talking about invading Colombia. You know, all these are Psalm 83 nations. And Yah is saying, okay, to turn themselves one against another. That's what you're starting to see. And President Trump is talking about taking over Greenland. And then, you know, the EU saying they're going to protect Greenland if the United States try to take it over. See, he's going to turn them against each other because of what they have been doing to the Israelites since they've been in power. All these centuries. And they don't even know why everything is starting to fall apart. You got those ICE agents. They just killed the woman over there in South Minneapolis because they trying to do their job and arrest the illegals that don't belong in the country. And then you got a lot of American citizens getting in the way. Psalm 83 against Psalm 83. And sometimes people get killed when you try to obstruct the law officers from doing their job. You know, you got stuff going on in Portland and, you know, all over. It's starting to get bad more and more. It's starting to get worse and worse, more and more. You know, so Yah is turning these people, these Psalm 83 nations, against each other because of what they have been doing to the Israelites since they've been in power for so many centuries. He's starting to turn the tide. That's what he's doing, family. Okay? To turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them. To who? The Israelites. Like as they do yet this day to my chosen. So will I do also and recompense in their bosom. They are going to pay for what they've done to the Israelites, the so-called Negroes around the world. We are the chosen children of Yah. It's all through scriptures. Before we was awakened, before 2019, you might have had a handful of Israelites knowing this. And most of us was, you know, didn't know it. Following along with what the Gentiles told us, believing white Jesus was God and all that, and, you know, singing in churches and, you know, hallelujah, you know what I'm saying? Where we, you know, really praising the real Yah. But all that was just, you know, a circus. Now, I know that for sure now because we have been awakened to the truth. Okay? But some of our people are still following the lies of the Gentiles, you know. But be that as it may, the truth has been revealed. We are awake now, the chosen people of Yah, okay? Thus says Yahuwah Elohim, my right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. The fire is gone forth from his wrath, and has consumed the foundation of the earth and the sinners, like the straw that is kindled. Woe to them that sin and guard not my commandments, says Yahuwah. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power. Defile not my sanctuary. For Yahuwah knows all of them that sin against him. Therefore delivers he them to death and destruction. He know all those have sinned against him by destroying the Israelites. They will be judged by how they have treated us when they were in power. Read the book of Enoch. They're all being tested. And most nations that have Israelites in it have failed the test. In the book of Enoch, it says that Yah has placed angels among those 70 shepherds and the sheep, who are the Israelites, to see what they would do. And they have all went way overboard with taking out more of our people than they were supposed to kill, and all the rest of the things that they have done to us. So this is why Yah is so angry at the nations, because of what they have done to his people. Okay. That's what it's. I'm reading it. I'll go over a couple of verses. Verse 26 of 2nd Esdras chapter 15, verse 26. For Yahuwah knows all of them that sinned against him, and therefore delivers he them to death and destruction. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For Elohim shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. Okay? Ye have sinned against him. Behold, a horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east. Okay? Let me go back up. Thus says Yahuwah Elohim, my right hand shall not spare the sinner, and my word shall not cease from them. Okay, like as they do yet this day to my chosen, so will I do also, and recompense in their bosom. See, like they do to his chosen, they destroy us. That's what he's going to do to them. That's what's going to be their recompense, their payback, because of what they have done to Yah's chosen people. Okay, now that is what Scripture is centered around, how the nations have treated Yah's chosen people. Okay, and the judgment is going to be handed out to them accordingly. So now I'll be going over, family, to the book of Jubilees. Jubilees chapter 22, verse 14 to 16. And this is something for Israel, family. Jubilees chapter 22, verse 14 to 16. And may he cleanse you from all unrighteousness and impurity, that you may be forgiven all the transgressions which you have committed ignorantly. And may he strengthen you and bless you, and may you inherit the whole earth. He's talking to Israel. And may we inherit the whole earth, he's saying. And may he renew his covenant with you, that you may be to him a nation for his inheritance for all the ages, and that he may be to you and to your seed and Elohim in truth and righteousness throughout all the days of the earth. And do you, my son Jacob, remember my words and observe the commandments of Abraham, your father. Separate yourselves from the nations, from the goats, okay? And eat not with them. Do not according to their works, and become not their associate with, for their works are unclean, and all their ways are a pollution and an abomination and uncleanness. What he's saying, those nations in the world, we have to disassociate ourselves from them and live in the way of get and take, and all the customs of the world and the pagan customs that they keep. He's telling us to disassociate ourselves from them. We are his chosen people, and we are the holy people. That means we are set apart. We must be set apart from the nations and the things that they're doing. We must keep his 10 commandments. That shows that we as people, and we are set apart from this world. So in closing, family, we don't live the way of get. We live the way, following his commandments. It is better to give than to receive. Luke chapter 6, verse 38 says, if you give, it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, men shall give into your bosom. And Yah will make sure of that, because these are his words. So for a brother or a sister who's really teaching the truth of the word of Yah, bless that ministry, family. If you have it in your spirit to do it, bless those that belong to Yah, family. And the giving that you give to them, Yah will bless you 10, 20, some 30, even 100-fold. Okay, I don't have any way on my channel for people to, do Cash App stuff with me. And I just haven't set up nothing like that. But all who have a desire to bless me, I pray to my Father, because that you have this giving, the spirit of giving, and you wish to bless this child of Yah. I pray Yah bless every last one of you 100-fold. All of you who have a desire to give to me, but just are not able to. I pray that our Father Yahuwah bless every last one of you 10-fold. So family, this has been Israelite family. Why do the nations live to take? It is not the way of the chosen. I'm Brother Judah Israel. I hope you got some understanding in Yah's precious name. So until next time, may Yah bless each and every last one of you. Stay safe, one love, and shalom.